everyone. I am Judel Paris Magdalta.
And I am Elizabeth N. Magdalita.
Today, we will discuss about strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character. This is about socio-cultural issues that we should know as a student.
Schools are for society. Their relevance is proven by their ability to address social-cultural problems. What are these social issues or problems that schools should be addressed? We have a number of them, but let's focus on the weaknesses of the Filipino character. Moral Recovery Program, Building a People, Building a Nation, submitted on April 27, 1988 by the task force to President Corazon Aquino, Senate, and a member of the press by then Senator Leticia Shahani. The moving spirit of the program. The weaknesses of the Filipino character as cited in the report are as follows. Extremely family-centeredness, extreme personalism, lack of discipline, passivity, and lack of initiative. Colonial mentality, kanya-kanya syndrome, talangka mentality, lack of analysis and self-reflection, and emphasis on forma rather than substance. Extreme family-centeredness. Excessive concern for family means using one's office and power to promote family interests and thus factionalism patronage. Political dynasties and the protection of erring family members. It results in lack of concern for the common good and acts as a block to national consciousness. Extreme personalism takes things personally, cannot separate objective tasks from emotional involvement. Because of this, the Filipino is uncomfortable with bureaucracy, with rules and regulations, and with standards procedures. He uses personal contacts and gives preference to family and friends in hiring, services, and even voting. Extreme personalism leads to the graft and corruption evident in Philippine society. Lack of discipline, a casual attitude toward time and space, manifested in lack of precision and compulsiveness, in poor time management and procrastination. Aversion to following procedures strictly results in lack of standardization and the quality control. Impatience results in shortcuts, palusot, hingas-kugon. Lack of discipline often results to an inefficient work systems, the violation of rules, and a casual work ethic lacking follow-through, passivity and lack of initiative, waiting to be told what to do, reliance on others, example, leaders and government. Complacence, lack of sense of urgency. There is a high tolerance of inefficiency, poor service, and even violations of one's basic rights. Too patient and matiisin. Too easily resigned to his fate. The Filipino is easily oppressed and exploited.
Colonial mentality, lack of patriotism or of an active awareness, appreciation and love of the Philippines, and an actual preference for things foreign. Colonial mentality is a sort of internalized racial oppression characterized by a sense of ethnic and cultural inferiority. The majority of participants reported experiencing both colonial mentality and decolonizing the mind, and a wide range of symptoms arose. Kanya-kanya syndrome, talangka mentality, done by chismis, intriga, and constructive criticism, it is evident and sensitive to the common good. The lack of sense of service among people in the government bureaucracy result in a dampening of cooperative and community spirit and in the trampling upon others' rights. This occurs in practically all Filipinos. We have a selfish, self-serving mentality that causes envy and competition towards others, especially those who appear to have earned some rank or reputation. The Filipino uses the leveling devices of chismis, intriga, and as constructive criticism to push others down. Lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. the tendency to be superficial is somewhat flighty, in the depths of serious personal and social problems. There is a lack of analysis or reflection, and instead satisfaction with superficial explanation and solution. Without this self-reflection, we simply go through life without thinking, rushing from one task to the next without pausing to consider whether or not things are going well. A lack of personal introspection, for example, may cause us to stay in a job we don't enjoy or a relation that is not working out. Emphasis on form rather than substances. This lack of analysis and emphasis on form is reinforced by an educational system that is more form than substances. Unfortunately, our civilization and culture have increasingly emphasized appearance over content, with image and character, sometimes taking precedence over truth. Humanity has become so abstracted in their solitary competition of personal interest and enjoyment that other people are only used as tools to achieve it, in order to win. Truth and integrity must seize the reins.
These weaknesses are rooted in many factors such as home, social and economic environment, culture and language, history, religion, educational system, mass media, leadership and role models. Change is possible, however, and the following goals are proposed to develop in the Filipino. Number 1. A sense of patriotism and national pride. A genuine love, appreciation, and commitment to the Philippines and things Filipino. Number 2. A sense of the common good. The ability to look beyond selfish interests, a sense of justice, and a sense of outrage at its violation. Number 3. A sense of integrity and accountability. An aversion toward graft and a corruption in society and an avoidance of the practice in one's daily life. Number 4. The value and habits of discipline and hard work. And number 5. The value and habits of self-reflection and analysis, the internalization of spiritual values, and an emphasis upon essence rather than on form.
The Filipino character, strength and weaknesses. In 1998, Senator Leticia Shahani submitted to the Senate this report titled A Moral Recovery Program, Building a People, Building a Nation. This report cites the strength and weaknesses of the Filipino character. The strength of the Filipino character are pakikipagkapwa-tao, Filipino ability to empathize with others and being hospitable, family orientation, deep love for every member and giving honor and respect to parents and elders, joy and humor, cheerful and fun-loving, flexibility, adaptability, and creativity, capability to adjust and adapt to circumstances, ability to improvise, hard work and industry, desire to improve one's standard for living, faith and religiosity, deep faith in God, ability to survive, great capability to surpass all sad experience. The Filipino character also has weaknesses: extreme family-centeredness, lack of concern for the common good, extreme personalism, no separation between an objective task and emotional involvement, lack of discipline, lack of patience, ningaskugon, relaxed attitude toward time, passivity and lack of initiative, waiting to be told what has to be done, colonial mentality, lack of patriotism, actual preference for things that are foreign, kanya-kanya syndrome, talangka mentality, feeling of envy and competition toward others, lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. The time of problem, we tend not to be serious in looking deeper into the problem. Emphasis on forma rather than a substance. This lack of analysis and emphasis on form is reinforced by an educational system that is more form than substance.
There is so much good in the Filipino, but so much needs to be changed too. Many of our strengths as a people are also sources of our weaknesses. Shahana's report on 1988 explains that family orientation becomes in-group orientation that prevents us from reaching out beyond the family to the larger community and nation.
In our personalism, we are warm and caring, but this leads us to lack of objectivity. We are concerned with people we know, but unfair to people we don't know. In our flexibility, we compromise precision and discipline. We are joyful people with a sense of humor, but we can't take things with humor all the time for serious problems. Need serious analysis. Our faith in God is our source of strength, but this makes us dependent on forces outside us. Do nothing that makes us submissive to God's will. We are good at pakikipagkapwa-tao, and so we can easily empathize, but we can at the same time be envious of others. We can be hardworking and yet can be lazy and passive in the workplace.
Value education in schools. Senator Shahani's report was given in 1988, but its finding as reported may still be true today. The Department of Education has as its own vision to help develop Filipinos who passionately love their country and whose values and competencies enable them to realize their full potential and contribute meaningfully to building the nation. It has as its core values, makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, and makabansa. This can be an uphill battle for Philippine schools to realize this considering the extreme family-centeredness, extreme personalism, lack of discipline, passivity and lack of initiative, colonial mentality, kanya-kanya syndrome, talangka mentality, lack of self-analysis and self-reflection, and emphasis on forma rather than substance. So that it will not be more form than substance as described in Senator Shahani's report. Philippine schools have to intensify values education in the curriculum. In fact, in response to this report, values education, now Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao in K-12 curriculum, was introduced as a separate subject in the basic education curriculum under the Values Education Framework program of Dr. Lourdes Quesimbing, then Department of Education, Culture, and Sports Secretary in 1988 to 1990. The Values Education Framework was conceptualized in 1987. In 2002, the Basic Education Curriculum Grade 1 to Grade 6 and first 4th year high school integrated values in the major learning areas or subjects. Beginning with the K-12 curriculum in 2013, values education was renamed Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao or ESP for grades 1 to grade 10. In the senior high curriculum, grades 11 to grade 12, there is no course with the title Value Education or Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao, but core courses such as Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person and Personal Development are in essence values education subjects themselves. The weaknesses of the Filipino character that pointed is emphasis on forma rather than substance. If I were a teacher and I can prove that there is an inverse correlation between the quality of content in the report and the quality of the artistry of the folder, that is, the better the content, the worse the effort in artistry. The better the artistry, the worse the effort on content. Then, that I need to look into what is causing this to happen. For example, not all students have the same skills. Someone who can easily express themselves in words might find it easier to write than to create an artistic folder. Someone who can easily draw or use other artistic talent might find it easier to express some of what they've learned this way. Of course, any artistic efforts must be strongly related to the topic of the report. To respect diversity of learning and communication styles, I might want to develop a rubric for grading that acknowledges the value of visual representation of information. In line with the government's austerity program, DepEd reiterates the following policies. Graduation rites should be simple but meaningful to encourage civil rights, a sense of community, and personal responsibility. While these rites mark a milestone in the life of the learners, they should be conducted without excessive spending, extravagant attire, or extraordinary venue. B. Moving up or completion ceremony should be simple, involving only the learners, their parents, and the school, and non-academic projects such as attendance to field trips, film showing, junior-senior prom raid, and other school events should not be imposed as requirements for graduation or completion. Having a simple formal event in schools will be also practical because not all families are capable to pay high amount of money to the events mentioned like graduation, moving up, and senior prom night. This program ordered to help families who have insufficient access in education as well to make education affordable and accessible. Aside from that, it will also maintain the sense of community spirit among individuals in preparing the venue and the event. And I am favor with this program because having a simple yet formal event is still an event that will give us good memories and it will stay in our heart and memory. DepEd trying to eliminate the kanya-kanya syndrome in Filipinos. When we say kanya-kanya syndrome, it is a negative attitude which it generates a feeling of envy and competitiveness to gain some status or prestige. It makes a barrier to the individuals to cooperate and to have a community spirit because having this mentality drives the person to have interest reign supreme.
In the post-observation conference, school heads cite points for improvements for the teacher observed. It happened that there are more points for improvements than positive points. Teacher concludes the school head is biased against her. The weaknesses of Filipinos that DepEd is trying to eliminate are the extreme personalism, in lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. It should be done if every person know how to respect and have self-discipline, to know what's right and wrong. Also unity, confederacy, perseverance, and accepting everyone's differences. What should be done in Philippine basic education system so that is more substance than form? There are just a few instances of what should be done in the Philippine educational system to make it more substance-based rather than form-based. Here are the following 6 stances that should be done on how to make Philippine educational system more substance-based rather than form-based. Supporting students in grades K to 12. Free college education is being provided. More public math and science schools are being built. Putting in place a national feeding program. Salary of teacher who earns more. Alternative education is being pushed.